ओम श्री परमात्मने नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता साधका संजीवनी 10th chapter The Opulence of the Absolute, verses 19 to 42. Description of the Lord's glories and yoga by him, God. In response to Arjuna's request, Lord Krishna tells him his divine glories. Verse 19. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Hanta te kathayishyami Devya hi atma vibhutyaha Pradhyanataha kurushrestha Nastyanto vistarasya me. The blessed Lord said, Now I shall tell you my divine glories in brief, O best of the Kurus, for there is no end to the details of my manifestation. Verse 20. Aham atma gudakesha sarva bhutasya stitaha aham adischa madhyam cha bhutanam anta eva cha. In the self, O Gudakesha, seated in the hearts of all beings, I am the beginning, the middle, and also the end of all beings. Comment. How should a striver make use of these divine glories? A striver should think that the Lord has manifested himself in all beings. He is the beginning, the middle, and the end of the whole universe. He is the seed of all of them. It means that in the whole universe there is nothing beside him. Verse 21. Adityanam aham Vishnur Jyotisham Ravir Anshuman Marichir Marutam Asmi Nakshatranam aham Shashi. I am Vishnu among the 12 sons of Aditi and the bright red sun among the luminaries. I am glory of the Maruts and the moon among stars. Comment. Vamana is the most important son of all of the 12 sons of Aditi. As the incarnation of Vamana, he got the property of demons as charity and gave it to the sons of Aditi, namely to the gods. Among the luminaries such as the moon, stars and fire, etc., the Lord is a bright red sun by whose light all of them are illuminated. The Lord is the glory of the 49 Maruts, wind guards. It is because of that glory that Indra, the king of the gods, split the fetus of Diti into 49 parts, but the fetus, instead of being destroyed, was turned from 1 to 49. Lord Krishna is the Lord named moon of 27 stars such as Ashwini, Bharani and Kritika, etc. Whatever distinction there is in those divine glories is of the Lord. Verse 22. Vedanam sama vedosmi devanam asmi vasvaha indriyanam manaschasmi bhutanam asmi chetna. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. I am Vasva, Indra. Among the gods, of the senses, I am the mind, and among living beings, I am consciousness. Comment. Of the 4 Vedas, Samaveda is the best one suitable for music. In it, there is the description of the Lord's glory in the form of Indra's glory. So, Samaveda is the divine glory of the Lord. Of all the gods, Indra is the chief one, the Lord of the gods. So, Lord Krishna has mentioned him as his divine glory. The 5 senses function properly only if the mind remains with them. If it wanders away, they can't function properly. So the mind is reckoned as the Lord's divine glory. The difference between a living person and a dead person is that the former has consciousness, life, energy, while the latter has no consciousness. So this consciousness is the Lord's divine glory. Whatever distinction is there in the divine glories is the Lord's. Verse 23. Rudranam Shankarashchasmi Vitesho Yaksha Raksham Vasunam Pavkaschasmi Meruha Shikrinam Aham. the Rudras, I am Shankara. Among the Yakshas, jinnis, and Rakshas, demons, I am Kubera. Among the Vasus, a class of the gods, I am the god of fire. And of the mountains, I am Meru. Comment. Shankara is the lord of all the 11 Rudras named Hara, Bahurupa and Triambaka, etc. They are the bestowers of beatitude to others. So Shankara is said to be the Lord's divine glory. Kubera is the lord of genies and demons. He is also the lord of fabulous wealth. So he is called the Lord's divine glory. The god of fire is the lord of 8 Vasus named Dhara, Dhruva and Soma, etc. The god of fire is said to be the mouth of the Lord through which oblation reaches the deities. So, he is the Lord's divine glory. Of all the mountains having mounts of gold, silver and copper, etc., the golden Meru mountain is the most important. It is the storehouse of jewels and diamonds. So, this mountain is his glory. Whatever distinction these divine glories have is the Lord's. So, only he should be thought of in all these glories. Verse 24. Purodhasam cha mukhyam mam vedhi partha brispatim senani nam aham skandha sarsam asmi sagraha. Among priests, O Partha, know me to be their chief Brahaspati. Among generals, I am Skanda. Among the seeds of water, I am the ocean. Comment. Brahaspati is the best of all the priests and he is superior to others in learning and wisdom. He is the preceptor of Indra, the lord of the gods, and is the priest of the gods. So, he is the divine glory of the Lord. Skanda, Kartikya, is the son of Lord Shankara. He is said to have 6 faces and 12 arms. He is the general of the gods. So, he is the Lord's divine glory. Of the seeds of water, the ocean is the biggest, is very deep and remains within limits. So, it is called the Lord's divine glory. After beholding these distinctions in the Lord's glories, a striver should think only of God. Verse 25. Maharishinam bhrigur aham giram asmya ekam akshram yajnanam japa yajna asmi sthavranam himalayaha. Among the great seers, I am Bhrigu. Of the words, I am the monosyllable Om. Of sacrifices, I am the sacrifice of the constant repetition of the Lord's name, and of the immovables, the Himalaya. Comment. Among the great seers, Bhrigu is a great devotee possessing wisdom and glory. It was he who, by testing the Trinity, proved Lord Vishnu superior to Brahma and Mahesha. Lord Vishnu holds the mark of his foot on his chest, so the Lord's glories are revealed through him. First, the monosyllable Om was revealed. Then, Gayatri, a Vedic meter, was revealed from Om. The Vedas were revealed from Gayatri, and the scriptures and Puranas, etc., were revealed from the Vedas. So the Lord has declared Om as his divine glory. In other sacrifices, certain rules and ordinances are to be observed, and in performing them, any error may be committed, which may result in harm. But in the constant repetition of the Lord's name, there is no question of any harm, and it can be performed at any time without any hard and fast rules and ordinances. The Hindus, Muslims, the Buddhas, and the Jains, etc., all believe that it is a very good means to attain salvation. So the Lord has named it as his divine glory. Among the mountains, the Himalaya is the highest and the greatest. Moreover, being the abode of the seers for the performance of penance, it is very sacred. The sacred rivers, such as the Ganges and the Yamuna, etc., emanate from it. Even in these days, the great seers and saints meditate on the Lord in the caves of the Himalayas. The sages named Nara Narayana are performing penance there for the salvation of the beings of the world. It is said to be the abode of Lord Shankara's in-laws. Lord Shankara also resides on one of its mounts named Kailasha, so it is called the Lord's divine glory. Whatever distinction or attraction is seen in the universe is the Lord's, but a man, by thinking of that distinction or attraction of the world, gets entangled in it, and thus he has a downfall. If he knows the reality that the distinction is of the eternal Lord, not of the perishable world, he will think of only the Lord and he will develop love for him. Verse 26. Ashvatha sarva vrikshanam deva rishinam cha nardaha gandharvanam chitraratha siddhanam kapilo muniha. Of all the trees I am Ashwatha, the holy fig tree. Among the celestial sages, Narda. Among the Gandharvas, celestial songsters, Chitraratha. Among the Siddhas, the sage Kapila. Comment. Ashwatha is the people or holy fig tree. Every other tree can grow under it. It can grow even on very hard surface such as the roof or the wall or on the mountain. It has ever been associated with the worship of the divine. In Ayurveda, it is said to be the cure for several diseases. So, it is recognized as the Lord's divine glory. The celestial sage named Narda always works according to the Lord's will. He becomes an instrument in the Lord's sport. He always sings of the Lord's glories and virtues on his harp. He inspired the sages Valmiki and Vyasa to write the scriptures such as the Ramayana and the Bhagavata. Men, gods, demons, etc. all have faith in him, and so they consult him and do according to his advice. Therefore, he is the glory of the Lord. The celestial songsters and musicians are called Gandharvas. Chitraratha is the most prominent of all of them. He was a friend to Arjuna and Arjuna learned music from him. So the Lord claims him as his divine glory. The Siddhas, the perfect, are of two types. Those who have attained perfection by spiritual discipline and those who have been endowed with perfection since birth. Sage Kapila belongs to the second type. He emanated from the womb of Devahuti, the wife to sage Kardama. He is the author of the Sankhya system of philosophy and the Lord of those who attain perfection. So the Lord has claimed him as his divine glory. A striver should always behold the Lord as all the divine glories are his. Verse 27. Uchiha Shravasam Ashwanam Vedhi Mam Amritodbhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranam Chanaradhipam. Among horses, know me to be Uchashrava, begotten of the churning of the ocean along the nectar. Of lordly elephants, Airavata, Indra's elephant. Among men, the king. Comment. When the ocean was churned, 14 jewels came out of it. Out of them, one of the jewels was Uchashrava. He is Indra's vehicle and is the king of the horses. So the Lord has claimed him as his divine glory. Airavata is the best of all the elephants. He was also born of the ocean when it was churned. He is also Indra's vehicle. So the Lord has claimed him as his divine glory. The king is regarded as the best among men because he fosters, preserves and rules over the subjects. Moreover, he is regarded to possess more divine power than other human beings. So he is called the Lord's divine glory. A striver should think of the Lord because all of them are his divine manifestations. Verse 28. Ajudhanam aham vajram dhenu namasmi kamadhuk prajnaschasmi kandarpaha sarpanam asmi vasukiha. Of weapons I am the thunderbolt. Of cows I am the celestial cow Kamdhenu. I am the sexual desire which is attended by procreation of serpents. I am Vasuki. Comment. Of all the weapons, the thunderbolt, which was prepared of the bones of the sage Dadichi, who gave up the body, is the best one. It involves a willing self-sacrifice of the sage Dadichi. So the Lord has named the thunderbolt his glory. The celestial cow Kamdhenu was also born from the churning of the ocean. This cow has the power to supply all the requirements of the gods and men. So, she is the Lord's divine glory. Kandarpa is Cupid, the god of sexual urge in beings. Progeny is possible because of this urge. This progenitive instinct is to be revered. If it is utilized for progeny by renouncing the sensuous pleasures, this urge is his divine glory. Vasuki is the lord of all serpents and is a devotee of the Lord. It was used as a rope to rotate the Mount Meru in the act of churning the ocean. So the Lord speaks of this serpent as his divine glory. The singularity seen in these divine glories is the Lord's. Verse 29. Anantaschasmi naganam Varuno yadasam aham Pitrinam aryama chasmi Yamaha sayamtam aham. Of the Nagas, serpents, I am Ananta, the serpent god. Of aquatic creatures and water gods, I am Varuna. Among the mains, I am Aryama. And among rulers, I am Yama, the god of death. Comment. The Nagas are the snakes living in water. Ananta is the lord of the snakes. It has 1,000 hoods. It gives comfort to the Lord by acting as his bed. It joined the Lord's sports several times when he was incarnated. So the Lord speaks of it as his divine glory. Varuna is the Lord of the aquatic creatures and water gods and is a devotee of the Lord. So he is a divine glory of the Lord. Aryama is the presiding deity over all the 7 means such as Kavyavaha, Anala and Soma, etc. So he is divine glory of the Lord. Yama is the Lord of death. He purifies the beings by enabling them to reap the fruit of their virtuous and evil actions. He is very just and righteous. He is a devotee of the Lord and the Lord of his region. Therefore, he is a divine glory of the Lord. The uniqueness in these glories is not personal. It has emanated only from the Lord. Therefore, a striver should think of the Lord when he thinks of his divine glories. Verse 30. Parladashchasmi datyanam kalha kalyatam aham mriganam cha mrigendro aham venetyascha pakshinam. Among the demons I am Parlada. Among reckoners I am Time. Among beasts I am the lion. And among birds Garuda, the vehicle of Lord Vishnu. Comment. Daitya, demons, were those who were born of Ditti. Among the demons, Prahlada was the chief demon. He showed great devotion to the Lord without having any desire for the fruit. So, he is called divine glory of the Lord. Time is the reckoner of the appearance, stay and disappearance of the things and beings in the universe. Therefore, it is called glory of the Lord. The lion is the lord of beasts. He is more powerful and courageous than other wild beasts such as tiger, panther, leopard and bear, etc. So he is the glory of the Lord. Garuda, the son of Vinata, is the lord of birds and God's devotee. He is the vehicle of Lord Vishnu. When he flies, the sound of the hymns of the Samaveda is produced with his wings. So, he is the Lord's divine glory. The distinction in all these glories is the Lord's. So, a striver while thinking of them should think of the Lord only. Verse 31. Pavanaha pavatam asmi Ramaha shastrabhritam aham Jashanam makraschasmi Srosam asmi janvi. Among purifiers I am the wind. Among wielders of weapon, I am Rama. Among fishes, I am alligator. And among rivers, I am the Ganges. Comment. Wind is capable of purifying all the things. It makes bodies healthy, so it reveals the Lord's glory. Though Rama is an incarnation of God, yet as far as the wielders of weapon are concerned, Rama is the best of all of them. So the Lord has mentioned Rama as one of his divine glories. Among fishes, the alligator is the most powerful. Therefore, the Lord names it his divine glory. Among rivers, streams, and waterfalls, etc., the Ganges is the most sacred. Her water is holy because she flows from the feet of Lord Vishnu. The believers, by beholding or touching her or drinking her water or bathing in her, attain salvation. If a dead man's bones are dropped into her, she leads him to salvation. So she is the Lord's divine glory. Verse 32. Sarganam adir antascha madhyam chevaham arjuna adhyatma vidya vidyanam vadaha pravadatam aham. Arjuna, I am the beginning, the end, and also the middle of all creations. Of sciences, I am the science of the self, soul. In debates, I am the reason. Comment. The Lord Himself is the beginning, the middle, and the end of all creatures. It means that He is all. So while beholding the universe or the beings, one should think of the Lord. The science which leads a man to salvation is called Adhyatma Vidya. All other sciences are imperfect. Something remains to be known after their knowledge. But this science is perfect. After knowing it, nothing else remains to be known. So it is the Lord's divine glory. Debates are of three types. First, sporting one's point and opposing others' points in order to get victory over the opponent. Second, only to oppose others. Third, brushing aside all prejudices, debating by following the reason faithfully to know the reality. This third one is a reason which is superior to the first two. So, it is the Lord's divine glory. Verse 33. Akshranam akaro asmi dvandvaha samasikasya cha aham eva akshyah kalo dhataham vishwato mukha. Of letters I am A. Of word compounds I am the dual dvandva. I am verily the endless time. I am the sustainer of all, having my face on all sides. Comment. A is the first letter of alphabet. It occupies an important place in both vowels and consonants. The consonants can't be pronounced without this letter. So, it is the Lord's glory. Out of the four important word compounds, while both the words in compounding themselves retain equal importance, they are called the dual or dvandva in it because each word maintains its individuality. The Lord has named it His divine glory. The time in itself is beginningless and endless and is called the Lord. In final dissolution, when even the sun merges into the Lord, the time is counted or measured through the Lord, Paramatma. So the Lord is eternal time. Having His face on all sides, the Lord sees all the creatures. So He sustains all of them very generously. Thus, He has described Himself in the form of His divine glory. Verse 34. Mrityuha sarvaharashchaham udbhavascha bhavishyatam kirtiha sharirvakascha narinam samritir medha dhritiha kshama. I am the all-devouring death. I am the source of future beings. Of females, I am Kirti, Shri, Vak, Smriti, Medha, Dhriti and Kshama, the goddesses, presiding over the qualities fame, prosperity, fortune, speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness and forgiveness respectively. Comment. Death has such an uncommon power that after death everything is devoured. Nothing remains in memory. Actually, it is not death's power, it is the Lord's power. Had death not possessed this power of forgetfulness, a man must have been very much worried about the relatives of the previous births, and he might have been attached to the persons and things with whom he had affinity in the previous births. As Lord is the sustainer of all beings, He is the source of future beings. It means that it is He who creates the universe, sustains and destroys it. These 7 women are considered the best of all women in the world. Out of them, Kirti, Smriti, Medha, Dhriti and Kshama are daughters of Prajapati Daksha. Shri is the daughter of sage Bhrigu, and Vak is Brahma's daughter. Fame, prosperity, speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and forgiveness are also the 7 well-known female qualities. A person achieves fame because of the virtues. Prosperity can be wealth, property, and cattle such as cows, horses, camels, and elephants, etc. Speech enables a man to be called a learned person. Remembrance of something is memory. Intelligence enables a man to fix something in the mind. Steadfastness means not to deviate from one's principles and beliefs, etc. Forgiveness is the quality of forgiving the offender by forgetting the wrong done, in spite of having the capacity and the opportunity to avenge the wrong done to him. The first 3 of these qualities are revealed outwardly, while the next 4 are revealed inside beings. The Lord has named them as His divine glories. So, if these qualities are seen anywhere in any being, a striver should think of the Lord by thinking those qualities as the Lord's. If a striver finds them in himself, he should think them as the Lord's, not as his own, because they are divine traits which emanate only from the Lord. If a person considers them his own, he feels proud of himself, and pride is a demoniac propensity which leads to a downfall. Verse 35. Brit sama tatha samnam Gayatri chandasam aham Masanam marga shirshoham Ritu nam kusuma karha. Of the Sama hymns, I am Brihat Sama. Of Vedic verses, I am Gayatri. Of the 12 months of the Hindu calendar, I am Marga Shirsha, and of seasons, I am the flowery spring. Comment. Brihat Sama is a psalm in the Sama Veda devoted to the praise of God under the name of Indra. This is regarded as the most prominent and best of psalms in the Sama Veda, so the Lord speaks of it as His divine glory. The Gayatri is the most important of all the meters contained in the Vedas. The Gayatri is said to be the mother of the Vedas because the Vedas have emanated from it. It consists of the trio of God, His form, His prayer, and meditation on Him. Therefore, its chanting leads a striver to God realization. So the Lord speaks of it as His very self. The crop which supplies food to the people is harvested in the month of Margashirsha. Religious sacrifice is also performed with the newly harvested crop in this month. In the days of the Mahabharata, the new year commenced with this month. Hence, the Lord declares it to be His divine glory. In the spring season, the life of the plant kingdom gets reanimated with fresh leaves and flowers even without water. The weather is neither too hot nor too cold. So the Lord declares it to be His divine glory. Verse 36. Dhyuttam chalyatam tejas tejasvinam aham jyosmi vyavasayosmi sattvam sattvattam aham. I am gambling of the deceitful practices. I am the glory of the glorious. I am the victory of the victorious, the resolution of the resolute, the goodness of the good. Comment. The game of chance played for money, property or kingdom etc. is called gambling. The Lord has called it His divine glory. Question. If gambling is the Lord's divine glory, it means that there is no harm in gambling and then it should be justified. But then why is it forbidden according to the ordinance of the scriptures? Answer. In this context, There is the description of the Lord's divine glories, not of sanction and prohibition. Arjuna put the question, in what various aspects are you to be thought of by me? So the Lord is answering his question by telling him that he should think of him only whatever he beholds in the form of his divine glories, because he declares all this universe is pervaded by me. Suppose a striver in the past had the habit of gambling. Now he is busy with adoration. By chance he is reminded of gambling, so he should think of God in it. Thus, by beholding the Lord in gambling and the loss and gain involved in it, a striver will think only of the Lord. Tejas is the glory or splendor of the great souls who possess divine traits. Before the great men who possess the glory, even the sinners hesitate to commit sins. It has been said as the Lord's divine glory. Everyone likes victory. This victory is the glory of the Lord. A striver should not enjoy the pleasure of his victory by regarding it as the manifestation of his power, but he should regard it as a manifestation of the Lord. The resolution or determination is the Lord's divine glory. A lot of importance has been attached to it in the Gita. The determination is one-pointed. Those who are deeply attached to pleasure and worldly prosperity don't have the determinate intellect. Even if the vilest sinner worships me with exclusive devotion, he should be considered a saint, for he has rightly resolved. The goodness of the good person is the Lord's glory. The quality of sattva, goodness, which prevails suppressing rajasa, physical attribute, passion, and tamasa, darkness attribute, ignorance, should not be regarded by a striver as his own but as the Lord's. All the virtues and achievements such as glory, victory, resolution, and goodness really belong to the Lord. So a striver, instead of considering them as his own, should consider them the Lord's, and so he should think of him only. Verse 37. Vrishinam vasudevo asmi pandvanam dhananjaha muninam apya aham vyasaha kavinam ushna kaviha. Among the members of the Vrishni clan, I am Krishna. Among the Pandavas, Dhananjaya. Among the sages, I am Vyasa. And among the seers, I am the sage Shukra. Comment. Here there is no description of Lord Krishna as an incarnation, but as the best member of the Vrishni clan. Whatever distinction Arjuna, the Lord's dear friend, possesses is the Lord's. So the Lord declares him to be his very self. It was sage Vyasa who compiled the Vedas and divided them into 4 parts. The Mahabharata, the 18 celebrated Puranas, and other scriptures were written by him. He is known as the guide to the modern authors. Any new treatise is to be the polluted one. It means it contains some portion which has already been included in Veda Vyasa's works. Being the most important of all sages, he has been declared by the Lord as his divine glory. The term Kavi stands for the learned men who knew the scriptural principles well. Shukracharya was the foremost of the learned. He was expert in the science of reviving the dead. He is known for the science of ethics. Because of his virtues and learning, he has been declared to be the very self of the Lord. Verse 38. Dando damyatam nitir asmi jigishtam manam chevasmi guhanam jnanam jnanavatam aham. I am the ruling power, punishment in rulers. I am righteousness in those who seek victory. Of secrets I am silent, and I am wisdom of the wise. Comment. Just punishment is necessary for a convict to deter him from the sinful conduct and to enable him to follow the right conduct. So the Lord has declared it to be his divine glory. It is righteousness by which one gains a victory, and again it is righteousness which makes the victory everlasting. So the Lord declares it to be his divine glory. Out of all the secrets, silence is important because every person can't know the feelings of those who keep silent. So the Lord speaks of it as His divine glory. Whatever knowledge or wisdom the wise men have is the Lord's divine glory. So whatever distinction is perceived anywhere is not personal but divine. So a striver should always behold the Lord in all the divine glories. Verse 39. Yachapi sarva bhutanam bijam tad aham arjuna na tadasti vina yatsyana maya bhutam characharam. O Arjuna, I am the seed of all beings. There is no creature, animate or inanimate, that can exist without me. Comment. Here the Lord gives the gist of all His divine glories by declaring that He is the seed of the cause of the entire animate or inanimate creation. By the term seed, He means to say that He is the efficient cause as well as the material cause of the entire creation. In other words, it can be said that He Himself is the creator as well as the creation. In the universe, whatever creature, animate or inanimate, moving or unmoving is seen, can't exist without the Lord. All of them originate from Him. He is manifest in all of them. By knowing this fact, a striver should think alone of God in whatever he sees and whatever comes to his mind and intellect. Now, in the next verse, Lord Krishna concludes the topic by revealing that there is no end of His divine glories. Verse 40. Nanto asti mama दिव्यानां विभूतीनां परन्तपा एषा तु देशतः प्रोक्तो विभूतेर्विस्तरो माया. O harasser of foes, there is no end of my divine glories. This is only a brief description by me of the extent of my glories. The Lord describes His divine glories in detail from the viewpoint of Arjuna. But from his viewpoint, this description is very brief because His glories are endless. The Lord is endless, limitless and bottomless. That is, He is beyond the limit of time and space. Now, the Lord describes His power of yoga in the next verse. Verse 41. Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam Srimad urjitam eva va tat tad eva gachatvam mama tejo ansha sambhavam. Every such thing as is glorious, brilliant or powerful, know that to be a manifestation of a spark of my splendor. Comment. Without Lord, there is no singularity anywhere. Therefore, whatever speciality a person observes, he should regard it as the Lord's, and so he should think of Him only. If he thinks that the speciality is of a person or a thing, etc., he has a downfall. If a chaste wife observes something special in any other person except her husband, her chastity gets polluted. Similarly, if a devotee perceives any singularity anywhere else except God, his exclusive devotion is polluted. Whatever beauty or glory or attraction or power or any other quality appears in an object or a being is only the Lord's. How? If it had been of a person or a thing, it might have remained there forever, but it is not so. Then whose is it? It is of the Lord, who is the illuminator, the origin, and the base of all of them. One who regards it as of the person or the thing gets entangled in the world and gains nothing. But if he, after a serious thought, comes to know the fact that the objects and persons that are perishable can't possess those qualities, they are only the Lord's, he attains bliss. Having answered Arjuna's question, now in the next verse, the Lord Himself reveals an important fact. Verse 42. Athva bahune tena kim gyatena tavarjuna vishtabhyaham idam krisanam ekanshena sthito jagat. Or what need is there, O Arjuna, for the detailed knowledge? I stand sporting the whole universe with a single fragment of myself. Comment. The Lord stands holding the countless universes in a fragment of his body through his yogic power. But it does not mean that that fragment is occupied by countless universes and so that fragment is not empty. That fragment is still empty. As with our intellect, we know several languages, scripts, and art, etc. But it does not mean that there is no more room in it to know more languages and scripts, etc. We can learn several other languages, scripts, and arts, etc. with it. When even our intellect, a small fragment of matter, is not filled with the knowledge of different languages, etc., how can a fragment of the Lord, who is transcendental, endless, limitless, and bottomless, be filled with countless universes? Om Tat Sat. All glories to Sri Partha Sarthi, Lord Shri Krishna. All glories to Bhagavad Vani, Srimad Bhagavad Geeta. Sri Hari Arpanamastu.